Karam. This is like another weekly review kind of thing. So I will give a tidbits about a lot of stuff. First, let's discuss this machine learning and LLM stuff. No, ideally, basically, we need an LLM which is based on Sanskrit, because then it will unite on all levels. It will be again a simulation only, because ideally this sound should be uttered from a human yantra, not a speaker yantra. You understand? Because when you utter it, it's different. But still, with some loss, it will be there, and it's like a simulation of the reality before going into the reality, for being it. But for Sanskrit LLM, basically most people don't know Sanskrit right now, so they won't be able to use it. So it's best to do it for like other languages right now. Hindi is also very close in terms of structure, so you can use Hindi. And then we can just codify everything, because at least in understanding sense, you know, it's like how if given the right prompt and if you create a LLM of Sanskrit, it can generate mantras, you know, just like how people Sankaracharya wrote like different like Bhaj Govinda, Saudriya Lahiri, all the Sanskrit compositions, no? But he realized it inside. So machine can auto realize it, but it will realize it in understanding. It will see it as a energy logic, which is also fine. I will for now. AI stuff can take care of a lot of India's problem, actually data problems, and if it is done right. Karam. Another stuff is we need to create like kid stories. Not the kid story about Harry and Jill went up the wheel and whatever bullshit. All kids like stories, no? So you tell them a long story instead of some incident. Story of Bharat, you know? Create Bharat as a character. Hi. And then you can mention different characters in between. Like this happened, then this guy came, and then he did that, and then this guy came, then this happened, then this happened. Like this, basically, what you will do in childhood only, you will prepare them for it. And it's very effective. Kid stories are very effective. So that's the history timeline. Also, you need to create a good. I mean, if you develop a good LLM, I think it can do it by itself also. But it should be in consciousness of people. So you should create a proper timeline. What happened when, where. Arrange your space and time basically. Where it happened, when it happened. You put the time date to it, you put the place to it. Then only your consciousness will be settled. No. This is like you don't even know. If you read on Wikipedia, most of the stuff about like anything which is Indian in nature, it will be like some legends say that this happened. You know, these people say that this happened, but this guy also said that this happened, so we don't know what happened. It's like all bullshit only, you know. So you need to create alternative of those things also. Like any saint or any rishi or anyone, if you read description, they will be like, he is thought of like this. He says he is like this. But anyone else they describe in their historical figure, they never say it like that. It's like, no, he was this person. So then it becomes a fact. Otherwise, it becomes opinion. So for Indian stuff, everything in Wikipedia is an opinion. Oh, these are their opinion. They think like that. But their stuff, everything is a fact. So this knowledge you need to right now, and all the data they are training it, all the new AIs which will give answer to your kids. If you ask Alexa, who was Buddha, you like, we don't know for sure. Some people say that it was a guy. Some people say it was not there. It was some story they created. It was like, give this answer only because this is the data it is trained on. So unless it will go deep into the child's mind, no? They will think it's the truth. How do they know it's not the truth? कौन रिसर्च करता है यार आज के टाइम में इतनी? तुमको लग रहा है इतनी बुद्धि बची है लोगों में? Basically digitizing your knowledge, and then again if you arrange it nicely using AI and everything, then it can be a very good resource of knowledge. Think no every kid will be able to get any answer because it has the AI stores everything. You just need to arrange it in a logical manner. How do you feed the data to the AI? Basically what they call that, no, data science, or how do you structure the data so that the machine can read it. It's a machine only, no, finally, it's not a real thing, no. You need to label it and then feed it. We'll keep this short only. So finally, in the end, it's about increasing your consciousness only. About who you are. Like right now you have come here in this time. Now some stuff is there. These guys are saying this thing. These guys are saying these things. Now you have to make sense of it. Who is right? Who is wrong? Who is truthful? What is not truth? All of that. It's not a easy path, but someone needs to do it. Otherwise, what will happen to the world? So be more conscious of what you do, what you think, as I told before also, no, it's like your 3 diets. What you eat on energetic level, what you eat on mental level, what you eat on physical level. What you eat on physical level is you call food. Be conscious of your food. What are you eating? What are you putting inside? Be conscious of your mental diet. What are you taking as thoughts? What kind of people are you listening to? Be conscious of your energetic diet. What kind of energy are surrounding you? Are you with like very loud energies and uncertain energies and like that? Your food. You should be conscious of your food. I think this is it. I'm focusing on different stuff, so I've not looked on like international level so much these days. But we will. Maybe some days we will do it revision again. Geopolitics. Which nation is where right now? What is the positioning? Who is supporting us? Who is not? Who we can benefit from? Everything. The people should be able to understand the game on every identity level. Okay, right now, how many identities are we holding? All of the identities, it needs to be, you need to see what the game is being played. You cannot be without a nation, no, right now. I thought this so much, like, I don't even want to be associated with a nation. Like, where will I go? I cannot go anywhere. This is how the world is created these days. You cannot go to a no man's land because there is nothing like a no man's land these days. Everything has been divided, bounded. So you have to belong to some nation. So this is the nation you belong to. And it's a good nation. It's a very rich history. then your identities of male, female, your identities of your jobs, all of these, dharma at every level, no? Raj dharma, South dharma, Kul dharma. How do you, dharma is basically that's only. No man's land is in consciousness, that's right, that's the only place. Like physically it's not possible, no? So even in mental you can do it. Like you can go in meditation and you are no man's land. You don't know which identity you are sitting on, no? But in physical reality it is not there. So that's the disconnection. Like the physical world we are bounded too tight. And they keep bounding it more and more. Like all of these white civilization, they are so mad, man. Like they are bounding it more and more. Now Elon Musk has launched so many satellites that you cannot even see astrology because you don't even know if it is a star or a satellite. So maybe Saptarishi becomes Astarishi or something else in the sky. So you cannot observe that knowledge now which was written because it's polluted now. So artificial stuff is there. What else? Something else we need to talk about. Everything will happen now. It's like see, the final thing is consciousness only, no? Spirituality. Not its final thing is being the knowledge. Being it. Not. It's like that's the paradox which the West is doing and they get away with it. They talk about all of this bullshit stuff like oh, you can build a time machine, you can do that. Arey, do it, no, show me that. Like there are multiverses, there are like this, it's like the time can be molded like this. Some mathematician will talk fancy words and all of that. And theoretically they talk all bullshit. But if we talk theoretically bullshit, then they will like, oh, these stupid guys, they don't know anything. Because it's not possible, no? I gave this very good example, no? People say that you can travel through a black hole and then you will arrive in another universe, or you will pass through space-time. But what will pass through space-time? Matter cannot travel through a black hole. So what of you will pass through? It's all matter only. Nothing will pass through. What will pass through? Consciousness, which is not matter, which is a subjective thing, not an objective thing. So your consciousness can pass through the black hole. And the key to it is all the spiritual methods. Nisargadatta Maharaj is good, no? He is on same line as Ramana Maharshi, like Gyan Yogi. Nisargadatta Maharaj, Ramana Maharshi, there is one more guy, I think Bapuji or something. All of them teach like very simple stuff. They don't do anything. They like just don't think. But one thing that will happen for sure, no. See, all of this is truth. But the times we live in, basically lies are more accepted. So the lies will never accept the truth even if you prove it, because that's their existence. So finally there will be a conflict. You will see there will be a conflict. Do you think like the America, which is such a powerful country who enjoys so much power in the world, they can go anywhere without visa. They can do whatever they want. They can buy islands. They can buy countries. They can do. They will let go of their power just like that. They will never. Otherwise, they would have never been so arrogant to get so much power. So there will be a conflict in the end. So you have to be ready for that also. Similarly, in India, like there are so many shooters, no? Oh, this is superstition. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. The only job is to basically pull down. They don't contribute anything to the knowledge. They just put some weird stuff on the knowledge so that you will doubt it. So in India also there will be a conflict. It's basically deciding you want to live in knowledge or ignorance. Most of the people will choose ignorance. You will see. They will be like, no, we are the stupid people. The British white people only taught us how to live, and we will follow them. You will think it is, even after proving so much, even after showing documents, even after showing everything, they will believe, but their existence is like that. If they will submit to you, then their existence is finished. They will never do it. So for that we need to ready for other stuff also. Like we need to be the knowledge and use it, because they will use their knowledge. So we have to use our knowledge. We have to build our own things which help us grow. Robert Adams is motivational speaker. Who is this guy? Very psychologist. Like someone as proud as Elon Musk, he was like, "Oh, I'll build a spaceship and that and that." So you think he will just say, "Ah, I was wrong all along. You were right." He will never say it. Their existence is based on arrogance, to show that you are superior. So we have to do it in physical. Doing it in knowledge, that is also won't be enough. You have to bring the knowledge to the physical. And don't get fooled by this good cop, bad cop strategy of white people. No, it's a very good strategy. Like their country's foreign policy, everything that they do will be against India. And when like the tourists, they come as a tourist, then they'll be like, "Oh, India is so beautiful. I love India." Arey bhai, then ask your government to support us. No, what is this? You care about your health care, whatever issue you go raise and everything, you unionize, and whatever you care about, you ask stuff, no? That is bullshit only, no? You are playing both sides, basically. This is called good cop, bad cop strategy. This is what they use in investigation of criminals. So first one guy will be nice to you, the other guy will be like harsh. Then this guy will be like, "Oh, don't be so harsh, please, please, please. This guy is better." Then this guy will like, this is how you break someone. He's a scientist. Now I remember. I have heard his conversations. I mean, not exactly conversations, but whatever is recorded. last of it, like India has to, Bharat has to get over this Gandhi booth, man. This Gandhi booth has trapped you. Like it's like I don't understand why is Gandhi revered above, like let's say Aurobindo. The Aurobindo like he gave you spiritual knowledge. He fought for your freedom also, like freedom fighter, real freedom fighter who went to jail also. Like if you see Gandhi's story, he was a like a rich guy kid. So who goes to in South Africa to study law in the time whenever like we are fighting for food? Which person has that resources? So he was a very rich guy, no? Understand this. Right now also people cannot go to foreign to study. In that times he had so much money. So in that country then he faced like discrimination. So then his soul awakened. Oh, like, oh, discrimination exists in this world. It's like an elite person finally shown some part of reality. You know? Otherwise he was living in La La Land only. And then he becomes some kind of like a weird saint and like pretended to be saint and all of that bullshit. Why is like Rabindranath Tagore more higher in status than Gandhi? He's a Nobel Prize winner also. So much literature, so much composition, so much contribution. It's all politics only. Basically because Gandhi belonged to a political party. These guys didn't form political party or they didn't become strong enough. That's only. Swami Vivekananda went specially for that only, no? In West. To spread knowledge. Like people should understand, no, who are these guys? Gandhi, Nehru, all of these guys. Who are these guys? Like somewhere like they are rich kids only. Like very, very rich kids in that time. So rich people, they never care about who is the king. If you have seen history. Because they finance the war. Who will finance your war? The businessman only. So they have actually the power. The king can change, but the king needs the businessman. So for them it's always heaven. Whether it is British rule, Mughal rule, this rule, that rule, they don't care. That is stupid, no? Truth and non-violence means what? What truth he adhere to? I gave this example only, no? So the guy who says like Ram Ram, this Ram, Shri Ram, that Ram, and then he makes a guy like prime minister of the country who is against the entire religion only. So what truth he adhere to? He should have chosen someone, no, who will carry his beliefs. If he believes in sadhana, if he believed in ashrams, if he believed in Ram, like he was a living thing, and then why would he like choose a guy to be prime minister who like refused to build Somnath temple, who refused to go there? Don't you feel the contrast there? Like there is a contradiction. Basically, the story of Gandhi that is told to you is portrayed like that. You understand? But who fed you these facts and stories? It's their system only. Obviously, they will feel like they will create themselves hero only. If you go and read Indian history in a British like book, they will say, oh, we went there, we did very good stuff, you know. We teach these people this, we teach these people that. Obviously, they will portray themselves as hero. That's how all human beings are. Even for slaves only, they will say, oh, these guys were very mature, so we bounded them, we kept them animals because, you know, animals needs to be trained. So in their books, obviously, they will never admit that they committed mistake. That's the arrogance part, no? You need to spot basically not the words, but the actions. What are the action he took? Because the action reflect it. Like all the other stories you judge by actions, but this story you judge by words. Very interesting. Like Krishna story, everybody is judged by actions. Oh no, he did that, he did that, he did. Why did he do that? Like, but this story you don't judge by actions. What he exactly do? Like, go read everything. No, how this Minto bill came, how this bill came, what did Gandhi do in like supporting it or rejecting it, and all of that. You will see the reality. So this Gandhi booth you need to get over, otherwise this will engulf the country. Like the guy, truth and non-violence, it comes from Buddha only, no? He was like ahimsa, no? Paramodharam. But he also never asked any country to demilitarize. He never asked anyone to not follow his Kshatriya Dharma. Because it's not the same thing. You have to understand it. When you are stupid only, then you say, oh, just be non-violent. Like, what do you mean non-violent? Even eating food means you are killing a plant. You have to kill some life to get your life. You cannot get your life unless you kill some life. Tell me what you do non-violence. Don't eat, just die then. That is, again, very ignorant view of looking at world. He was, I told before also, no, he was like mentally violent person. If he was non-violent person, then he will never hold any agitation. What is the meaning of a satyagraha? That I will do this. What is that? So, what? It's like a child not eating for 3-4 days to mentally torture the parent. You're like, okay, no, I will not do this. You understand? It's a mental violence. So he is like basically non-violence was not physical violence, but mentally you can do. Like anybody who sit on this armor and anshan, they are basically playing the mental warfare only, no? The mental warfare only, like this guy, oh, 12 days has happened, he has not eaten anything. What will happen? Would he die or not? What if like he dies? Then it will all be on these people because they didn't fulfill his wish. It's like that only. Psychologically you are playing warfare. This is called passive aggression. It's a very popular psychological term. In which in physical you are very nice, but in your heart you are the most vicious person in the world. Okay. I'll also go now. Bye bye. Namaskaram.